Good afternoon, and thank you for connecting with the Pennsylvania Game Commission today. My name is Lori, and my colleague Brittany and I will be managing the session today. We are fortunate to be joined by Doug Gross, our Endangered and Non-Game Bird Section Supervisor for the Pennsylvania Game Commission. He'll be speaking with us about participating in the Christmas bird count today. I'd like to do a quick audio check to make sure everyone can hear us. So if you'll check the control panel to the right of your screen and send some text from the type question here box, we'll begin when we have confirmation that audio is working. While you're doing that, I can let you know that we expect the presentation to last about 20 minutes, followed by a question and answer period of about 10 to 15 minutes. For those of you dialing in to listen by phone today, please note that this is not a toll-free call and you may receive long-distance charges from your service provider. If you like to take notes, you can download notes pages from the handout section. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Doug Gross. Thanks for joining us today, Doug.
Hello, it's great to be with all of you. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Christmas bird count, which is an annual bird survey done every early winter across the hemisphere. I work as an ornithologist with the Game Commission, but I participated privately with the Christmas bird count for over 40 years. It's lots of fun, and I invite all of you to be involved with the Christmas bird count. What is a Christmas bird count? Well, originally, it's the original and longest running American citizen science project for birds. It was started in 1900 by Frank Chapman of Audubon and 26 of his friends as an alternative to the traditional, what they called side hunts of the 19th century. The dates of the Christmas bird count are December 14th through January 5th each year. And this is in essence an early winter bird survey. And it occurs in all kinds of weather, and which makes it fun. And people find it challenging and dress well for the occasion. The Christmas bird count is a census of an area. Observers count all species of birds observed in a given area during the count day. And this bird data helps us assess the state of the populations of all those species and the health of the habitat in the area. And here by this slide you see a variety of different kinds of people are involved, and the Christmas bird count is a wonderful way to get beginners involved with bird counting and citizen science, and it's a great way to get youngsters involved with wildlife, connecting them with wildlife. How do you join in? Most bird count circles are organized by the local bird club or Audubon chapter. So the first step really is to get involved with your local Audubon chapter or bird club. Get to know those folks, and from there everything follows. Each circle is a unique area and has been done for many years. You can participate in two basic ways. Be a regular participant, that is, be out in the field counting birds in an assigned area, and new participants are often linked or join experienced counters in the same card in the same party. So you can participate even if you are just learning how to identify birds. Another way to participate is be a feeder watcher, and this is basically counting the birds at your home feeder. That's not as much fun as actually going out there and counting the birds yourselves out there in the woods. When and where are these circles conducted? Well, all the Christmas counts are conducted between December 14th and January 5th. And the reason for this consistency, so we can really compare the numbers from one year to the next. So we can see trends over the years very consistently. Now, all these counts are conducted in circles, these what we call count circles. The example to the right there is the city of Ithaca, home of Cornell. Circles are 15-mile wide diameters, and each circle has a designated coordinator, the boss of the whole project, who assigns people to different areas and collects all the data together for the report. And then each one of these sections has its own leader. And so each one of these little sections, like here's 9 or 2, has its own leader, and people get involved on a very intimate level there, walking and riding together. How do you sign up for this? Well, basically, I highly recommend just getting to know the local Audubon chapter or bird club. And they make different announcements through their newsletters and also in the local paper or on their own internet birding sites. A lot of these local bird clubs and Audubon clubs have their own web Facebook page, so you'll often find the information there. But the best way, actually overall easy to find, is the National Audubon Christmas Bird Count website, which is a very elaborate, excellent website with tons of information, not only how to get involved, but all the past data that's been collected for the Christmas bird counts. How do you sign up? Well, just basically you go to this page, which basically shows the map of all these count circles, and you can log into this page and find a particular count circle near where you live. Click on that circle. For instance, this is the Bloomsburg circle where I live, and you would find by clicking it that the coordinator's name, in this case it's Kathy Hafner, who's a biologist with our agency. You would find the email address of that person, and you can contact that coordinator with that information. This is very easy, and a lot of people find their new Christmas bird count this way. What does the Christmas bird count produce? Well, we produce a lot of different things with the information collected. There's a huge volume of information collected on bird, not bird numbers, but where they're located. So annually there's a volume produced of American birds about the Christmas bird count. But also there are many publications of researchers of Christmas bird count data. And best of all, you can go to the website that I've already indicated and download a lot of that data and look at graphs like we show here on the slide of the trends of different species. In this case, the eastern Bewick wren, which is virtually extirpated from the eastern coast now. You can see that decline over time. We often have used these kinds of data collected to monitor different rare species. Delightfully, the Audubon, through the Christmas bird count, has monitored bald eagle populations and has been a witness to the recovery of the bald eagle. The Game Commission has been a proud part of that partnership, and we've now delisted bald eagle, but it's a great interest to people. But also we have other species of conservation concern of interest. For instance, the short-eared owl, pictured in the center of the slide, is an endangered species in Pennsylvania, and we like to learn where short-eared owls are spending the winter. The sandhill crane is monitored on the right-hand side by U.S. Fish and Wildlife with the cooperation of the Pennsylvania Game Commission. These are just some examples. The rusty blackbird is a declining songbird that also has been monitored through Christmas bird counts and other counts, and we also can see not only how many rusty blackbirds there are, but where they spend the winter in Pennsylvania and other states. When you do a Christmas bird count, be prepared for a full day of field. One of the best things you can do is get out there now early and scout your area before count day. Get to know the roads of your count area and walk around a bit. Sometimes you can get to know the landowners and get to walk on private property with their permission. I've done this a few times. People are often very welcoming. Bring along good optics, binoculars, and telescope. Telescopes are often really good to see wide open spaces like farm fields and rivers. Plan the day out and make adjustments according to the weather. It's often good to follow the sun. Birds are often active where the sun hits and it's a little warmer. Comfort counts when it comes to bird counting, like any other outdoor activity. Dress warmly in layers so you can take off clothes as it gets warmer, or put a windbreaker on if it gets a little windy. Bring hot and cold beverages and lots of food. People nibble through the whole day. Here are some tips on being a better birder during the winter, particularly on a Christmas bird count. First of all, be ready. Study the bird identification of the birds you expect to find in your count circle. And you can get that sort of the bird list from your local Audubon group. Walk as much as possible during a Christmas bird count. You find a lot more birds by being out there in the habitat, even if you're walking along a dirt road or a trail, getting off away from the car, you'll find more birds that way. Visit as many kinds of bird habitats as possible, as early as you can. And check out open water. Even small streams can be really great for birds and attract songbirds who are trying to get a drink or finding some insects along a stream. Find good food sources like wild fruits and berries, patches of open grass, conifer trees with cones. I give the example here to the right of a downy woodpecker eating poison ivy berries. So it's good to know where those clusters of berries are. Birds are always attracted to it. One of the best ways to find a ruffed grouse is to find some berry bushes. They'll feed early in the morning on berries. Visit a variety of habitats in your area. Some examples, you can find horned larks out in an open field that looks barren. They often are attracted to manure piles, by the way. Golden crowned kinglets will be back in the forest. Northern mockingbirds can be found in thickets, especially where there's rose hips. Water is a magnet for winter birds. So you can find not only ducks like the American black duck and the common merganser, but also great blue herons, belted kingfishers can be attracted to water where you least expect them. Wild fruits and berries attract many kinds of birds. I use 3 examples here of very attractive, charismatic ones. Eastern bluebirds, like the one to the left, are very attracted to staghorn shumacs and poison ivy berries. American robins that have come south from Canada and New York forage on staghorn shumac and other berries. And of course, the ultimate frugivore of our area, the cedar waxwing, forages on a lot of different kinds of berries as they visit our area. Different kinds of finches are often the feature of winter bird counts, especially the Christmas bird count. Here are some examples of evening grosbeak, purple finch, pine siskin, and the rare red crossbill. You can find them not only at feeders, but also back in the woods where they're foraging on pine cones, spruce cones, or maybe birch catkins. If you want to find some more birds, check out some buildings and cavities where you can find screech owls, barn owls, kestrels. Of course, you'll also find house sparrows and starlings, but it's good to check those buildings. Birds hide out in them. Want to add a few more exciting birds to your Christmas bird count? Get out early and go owling. Listen for great horned owls that are hooting in the early morning. They're in courtship right now and hooting in the distance. You can hear them as much as an hour away, a mile away, excuse me. Eastern screech owls can be found peeking out of a box like the illustration here, but also just they whinny in the distance as they call. Northern saw-whet owls, they sound like a car backing up as they toot. And barred owls say, "Who cooks for you?" back in the woods. Some birds are just a lot of fun during a Christmas bird count. Ruffed grouse is a great bird to find, and you often have to walk along a road or in the woods to flush out a grouse. And on the right, the American woodcock is attracted to wet areas, even in the snow. So go for those mucky areas where there's winter seeps or along a little stream with brush. You might find a timberdoodle. And of course, the ultimate winter bird is the snowy owl. Now, we had a great incursion a few years ago, and this year we expect a minor incursion, and you can find a snowy owl in wide open spaces in Pennsylvania this winter. Each Christmas bird count just seems to have a special feature. This year it might be the great red-breasted nuthatch eruption. Red-breasted nuthatches are charming little birds that yank like a little toy, and they can be found at bird feeders, especially sunflower seeds and suet attract them, but also particularly they like spruce cones. So here's an illustration on the right of a red-breasted nuthatch hanging from a Norway spruce cone. I have at least 5 in my backyard every morning, and they're an absolute delight, and you could find several of them during your Christmas bird count experience this year. The Christmas bird count is sort of the gateway to citizen science in the United States. There are many other science projects that you could get involved with, and I'm highlighting 3 here in this slide. One is called Project Feeder Watch, and there's the link right there on the website on the page. The Great Backyard Bird Count, that's a very easy one to be involved with, and you just to count the birds in your own backyard. But the best one of all is eBird, and I administer the Pennsylvania portal for the eBird project, and I invite you to get involved with that project as well. All the data from these projects are used by scientists and agencies to help better manage our bird populations. So for more information about the Christmas bird count and other bird surveys, feel free to contact us here. PGC Comments is a great way to send in notes so we can answer questions after this. And this slide also shows my email address. And check out our website. We have several good pages about wildlife and birding on our website. And I'm ending with our slide that we used earlier to show you where best to find information on the Christmas bird count, and remind you that the actual website, which is excellent and very, very informative, is easy to get into and to get information about participating in the Christmas bird count.
All right. Thanks, Doug. We have a suggestion from Jeff that if you're out doing the Christmas bird count somewhere where it is open to hunting, that you may want to wear some orange.
Yes, that's an excellent suggestion. And actually, that's why a lot of Christmas bird counts are conducted on Sundays. But any other time, it's good to have some orange on you, and that can be just a vest and a hat that you wear over your regular winter wear.
That's perfect. So if anybody has questions, you can type them into your question box. Brittany and I have some questions in the meantime while those questions are coming in. What are some of the birds to study beforehand that may often be misidentified?
Well, yeah, there's a long list of them. I think some of the great challenges in bird identification are with raptors, so it's good to study the hawks, basically. Red-tailed hawk, everything you compare to a red-tailed hawk or a kestrel, to study the different accipiters like Cooper's hawk, sharp-shinned hawk. You actually can see some red-shouldered hawks occasionally, and they often get overlooked because people assume that's a red-tailed hawk. It's good to check those sparrows. I didn't include many sparrow pictures, but sparrows are often misidentified, and so I would check the sparrow pages, make sure you know what a song sparrow looks like. That's a very common one. And the American tree sparrow is a bird of overgrown areas like goldenrod patches. We don't get very many chipping sparrows. You're much more likely to get an American tree sparrow. And also I would check out the blackbird family. So it's good to study the plates on comparing red-winged blackbirds. And the female looks like a big sparrow, by the way, compared to a starling and cowbirds, for instance. There are just some examples.
Gotcha. Can you count? You had mentioned hearing the great horned owl. Can you count birds that you don't see, but you hear?
Yes, you can, as long as you're confident in their identification. And great horned owls are actually fairly easy to identify. The question is whether they're in your count circle. You can hear them a good quarter to a half a mile or even a mile away. And they are courting now, so you'll hear them. It's very romantic, by the way, folks. The high-pitched one is the female, the lower-pitched one's the male, and they call back and forth in courtship to establish their bond. They start nesting in January, and now they're in courtship.
And they won't be like next to each other in the same tree.
They'll
usually be far apart.
Yeah, they could be several hundred yards away from each other, and that's their way of touching with each other, so to speak.
We have a question from Kathy. She wants to know what your most memorable Christmas bird count experience or sighting has been.
Oh, I can't even remember them all. I'll tell you what the funniest one was. The funniest one was going along a dirt road in Greenwood Township in Columbia County and encountering a myna bird. It was a hill myna, and it was with a flock of starlings foraging on staghorn sumac berries. And here, a myna bird escaped someone's cage a few days before, and it joined in with a flock of starlings. So it's an odd thing to find an Indian bird in the middle of middle of Pennsylvania in the middle of the winter.
That's unique. Let's see. Drew is curious about the difference between the Project Feeder Watch and the bird count, the Christmas bird count. Are they the same, or they're different?
Well, Project Feeder Watch is a particular time of year. It's actually, I think it's in February. I have to check the dates on that. I would check that. The Christmas bird count is unique. It has that unique window of participation, and it's a whole circle that's 15 miles across. Whereas Feeder Watch is a distinct area, usually in your backyard. So they're very different, but in scope and scale and timing.
Jason wants to know if there's a way to create a new count circle in a new location.
Yes, there is a way to do it, and I will go through the website to find out how that's done. I couldn't tell you exactly how to do that offhand, but people do create new count circles. It's always good to make sure that the count circles that exist are being well covered first. And we try to avoid having overlapping count circles. But that's a good idea to fill in the gaps of our knowledge of winter bird distribution.
Is there a place where we could learn more about bird songs?
Yes, actually one of the best places to look at that is the Cornell Laboratory of Ornithology website. And you could check their All About Birds part of that website, and they have included in All About Birds, they have the common songs or vocalizations of each species. And it's great because one of the best ways to learn bird vocalization is to see the picture of the bird when you're hearing the sound. You're more likely to connect your visual impression of the bird with the sound that way. There's other websites that show that talk about, that give illustrations of examples of bird vocalizations.
That's a good one. Okay, so we have some people seem to be a little confused about how they sign up for the Christmas bird count. They go to the website that they can see there at audubon.org,
right,
on their Christmas bird count website, and is there instructions there on how to get signed up?
Yes, there is, and actually one of the best ways to do is you go into the that page where I showed you the map, and then you contact the coordinator for that circle. That's the best way.
And you find that by clicking on the circle, and it will tell you. It pops up with that little window that tells you their name.
Yeah, it pops up that little window. I probably didn't explain that well enough, but yes, it's that's the way to. You basically contact that person, and that person will communicate with you about participating. And participants are very welcome. And if you're a beginner, they'll partner you up with someone who's experienced, so you'll have fun with that person.
Can you do it as a whole family?
Oh yes, yes.
All right. It looks like the questions are wrapping up there. So let's see. The session has been recorded, and everyone should receive an email with a link to the recording within the next few hours. The recording will also later be uploaded to our YouTube channel, where captions will be auto-loaded and edited at a later date. I'd like to thank Doug for sharing his expertise and time with us today, and we'd also like to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us this afternoon. We hope you'll visit us again to learn more about Pennsylvania wildlife in upcoming webinars. Let us know what subjects you'd be interested in seeing in our upcoming webinars too. So if you didn't get your question answered, feel free to email pgccomments@pa.gov, and we will try to get those answered for you at a later time. Thanks a lot, and make yourself a great day.